Today, we're going to be looking at an article written by A1 Trading's lead journalist, Michael Donahue. Here's what he had to say about the US dollar. This morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia released an unfortunate batch of news for the US economy. The Philadelphia Fed Business Outlook Survey, otherwise known as the Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, which surveys over 200 Philadelphia manufacturers on a monthly basis, indicated worsening business conditions this month. While the US dollar bullish run cannot last forever, a reversal currently seems unlikely anytime soon. High core inflation and hot labor markets are still incentivizing the Federal Reserve to continue their aggressive rate hike strategy, which they show little sign of stopping, regardless of UN criticism. Those bullish on US dollar may want to watch bearish movements, which could yield potential discounted opportunities for going long on the greenback. Now let's take a look at some dollar pairs inside of the EdgeFinder. So here we are inside of the EdgeFinder. We're taking a look at the score chart summary because we're going to be looking at some US dollar pairs. You may be used to seeing the score chart summary look like this if you don't have the EdgeFinder for yourself. This is what it normally looks like when we're doing EdgeFinder videos, but since we're looking at US dollar pairs, I currently have only major currency pairs selected. So I figured that we would take a look at our top buy for the US dollar and our top sell for the US dollar, which we have two tied here at a strong sell bias of -6, the pound dollar and the euro dollar. Although if you've been keeping up with the videos recently, we've been talking a lot about the pound, so we've kind of already looked at that pair a lot this week. So I think we're going to look at euro dollar as well as USD CAD, which is another pair that we kind of have already talked about this week. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Euro USD, and we'll get to USD CAD in just a minute.
Struggling to come up with a trading plan of your own? Down in the description below, we've linked a form to gain access to our trading plan template. Fill out the form and a member of our team will contact you with the free trading plan template so you can create a plan that accounts for whatever the markets throw at you.
Euro USD really quickly, we can take a look at COT data here. Of course, we've been talking about the US dollar pretty much all month. 78.57% long, 21.43% short coming from institutional traders. And again, this gets updated weekly, so we're going to be seeing the same institutional trader data, but we haven't taken a look at the euro yet this week, I don't believe, which sits at 55.28% long and 42% short. So institutional traders slightly favoring the long side of the euro, not as heavily as the dollar. And because the dollar is so much highly favored institutional wise, we're giving this a score of -1 here. Retail sentiment tends to agree with institutional traders here. We can see overall retail traders are 62% long on the pair, 38% short. Seasonality has a score of -1, and that means historically speaking, when taking a look at the all-time average as well as the last 5-year average, we see a downward trend. We see that right here. All-time average is really what's in the downward trend. Last 5 years, not so much. And in fact, from moving from November to December, both all-time and last 5-year show a sharp upward trend. So keep a lookout. I mean, this again is a strong sell bias, so we're most likely going to see a downward move following the all-time average moving into November, but keep an eye out for some upward momentum moving into December, as historically speaking, that seems to tend to be the case. Trend reading a score of -1, which again just means that this market is moving down respectively. And here we go, our only blue box, GDP growth. Euro GDP sits at 0.8% compared to the US dollar's -0.6%. So that's our only blue box there. That means that's the only area here in our fundamental section where the euro actually has better data than the US dollar. Inflation, unemployment, and interest rates all sit at -1, and we can look at those numbers here. Euro unemployment higher than the dollar, 6.6% compared to 3.5. Interest rates lower than the dollar, 1.25% compared to 3.25%. And we can see here that gives us a 2% bias, a plus 2% bias towards the US dollar. Again, that is just the larger number subtracted by the smaller number to get the difference. That is a plus 2% difference in interest rates there. And lastly, inflation, euro inflation, very high right now, 9.9% compared to the US dollars, also fairly high inflation, 8.2% for the US dollar there. Potential price points here, we have our price forecast. Today is October 21st, so these are our numbers so far today. Haven't closed that out, of course, but here we can see how price has kind of shifted, downward trend, a little bit of consolidation before our retesting, and it looks like we're going to be headed back on another downward trend. If price were to spike tomorrow, this green line is what we're looking at here. These are some price points that we could potentially see the pair coming to. If we kind of stay on the same trend that we have been on, this orange line here is some potential numbers that we could see the pair being around. Not these numbers for sure, for certain, but around these numbers. This is just a prediction, a forecast. And if price dips even lower, does even worse, we're looking at this red line here for some potential price numbers. So that was our top sell, Euro USD. Our top buy was USD CAD. So we're going to take a look at this right here. USD CAD breakdown page, buy bias, not a strong buy, but a buy nonetheless. Score of +5, COT data +2. Heavily favored on the US dollar here. Again, Canadian institutional trader data 35.84% and 64.16% short. So institutional traders favoring the short side of the Canadian dollar. Retail is overall short bias, 82% short, 18% long. So retail traders overall are short on the pair. That gives us a retail score of +1, by the way. Seasonality +1 as well. So we can see here, historically speaking, both the all-time and last 5-year average tend to agree. Slight upward trend all-time, a sharper upward trend in the last 5 years, moving from October to November. And then they tend to agree here as well. Slight downward trend all time and a sharper downward trend in the last 5 years, moving from November to December. So once November hits, we expect this seasonality to change to a -1 score as the pair tends to move down in the later months of the year. Trend reading +2, so this market is moving upwards respectively. And then lastly, GDP growth and inflation both have scores of -1. Unemployment +1 and interest rates are a 0 neutral score. So let's take a look at this. We've already looked at the numbers for the US dollar, so I'm just going to skip over them very briefly. We're just going to take a look at Canadian dollar. 0.8% GDP growth here, 5.2% unemployment, 6.9% inflation, and interest rate scores are actually the same. Interest rate percentages are the same. So the Canadian dollar beats out the US dollar in two areas, GDP growth and inflation, but has higher unemployment than the US dollar here. Price forecast, here are the numbers for today. And again, we expect that this market is going to trend upward even further. So if price shoots up, we could be looking at some of these numbers in this area. And if we stay on the same trajectory, this orange line here is some potential price points. And then if we were to dip going into tomorrow, this is what the software predicts, we would be around here.
Now let's turn it over to trade analysis featuring TraderNick and Miko.
Yeah, so we're looking at the dollar CAD. Look at that dollar coming in week today. Wow, dollar coming in. Let's just hope we get like 6 more weeks of that so we can change everything we've been talking about. If we could trend the other way, if inflation cools and all this, that, and the other. Anyways, dollar CAD. I mean, if you're just a technical trader, pay attention possibly to the breakout of the lows. It could be interesting if you think the dollar might have a little bit of a swing back down to the downside. at least I would say watching out for this break. I just think, overall the uptrend on the dollar CAD is something I'm a little bit hesitant to try and get in front of. I mean, again, you have, as we speak, we're retesting the 100 moving average. You got all these moving averages still, slightly favoring the bulls. So we'll have to watch how these candles close today on the dollar CAD specifically. So there you go. Again, range bound move here today. I think the big question mark will be to see if we can actually break through the lows here today. So could be a little swing back to the downside. But again, I think you just have to be cautious with trying to hold on to that too long, because the trend here to the upside, still something I wouldn't get in front of. So personally, I'm not going short. I'd be more interested on the long side, but we're very far away from anything there. So dollar CAD is pretty much a no action pair for me today. So there you go.
I was this morning in 2 trades, gold short and Euro USD short. However, as I can just see now, I've just been taken out of Euro USD as a break even. So I did enter the trade yesterday on this bearish candle here. Stop loss was around this area there. So it came pretty close to my stop loss actually, but it did reverse. So it was looking pretty good. I managed to bank some nice partials on in this trade coming into this level here. So I did secure some partials, I went break even. But yeah, the market just done a full 180. We were looking very, very bearish this morning, and then dollar has, dollar was looking bullish, and now it's reversed and looking pretty bearish. And it's just taking me out the trade. I'm also in gold, which could look to take me out the trade as well. I haven't taken most of my profit, around 80%. So if it does come take me out, it's still a successful trade. It has come to hit my take profit area, but I did leave 20% because I'm expecting gold to break lower. So I'm expecting gold to break through this low and keep going. However, it looks like it just doesn't want to do it just yet. So I was selling gold on Tuesday there, 10 a.m. Nice move to the downside. It did come and hit my target. I've secured around 80% there, but it has pulled back very aggressively. So this one could be looking to take another trade as well. If it does, it does. Nothing's really changed from my bias. I'm still expecting gold to roll over. And same with Euro USD. I'll be looking for some more entries with this one, but I think I'll give it till next week before I look to do anything again with Euro USD.
Make sure you guys check out the links in the description if you need broker recommendations, access to our free Discord, or want to chat with us on Telegram. If you're interested in our trading software, the EdgeFinder, you can find that in the description as well. Thanks for watching.